Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Thomas Cedar Lake Utility Board meeting for May 2024. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Meeting is called to order at 6:43 p.m. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan.
Here.
Julie Rivera is absent. Chuck Becker.
Here.
Greg Parker is absent. Mary Joan Dixon is absent. Richard Fields.
Here.
Nick Recupero.
Here.
I am present. Josh Bungie.
Present.
David Austin.
Present. Okay, we have a quorum. Just want everybody to know, 4 votes. A quorum will be, a total of our quorum will be required for favorable votes this evening. We'll move on to new business, approval of minutes from April 16th, 2024. Are there any questions or corrections on the minutes? If not, do we have a motion to accept and waive the reading of the minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Teal to approve the minutes from April 16th, 2024. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Richard Fields.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes. Motion carries 4-0. Number 2 of new business is approval of Robin's Nest Well House Booster Skid Replacement by, is it Dom or Dame Mechanical Industries Incorporated. This is the preferred company that Xylem works with. Who's got some information? Mr. Kubiak, do you have something for us on that?
Well, you have the proposal in front of you. This is to install the new booster pump sled and the motors and the pumps and the controls that were ordered for Robin's Nest. So this is installer that works with Xylem with their product to install. So that's why we went with them to have them put it in, since they were the kind of their recommended installer person for their equipment.
Okay.
And this is at $5,888. $888.
I would have a
Right.
copy of that thing with me.
That's the total.
I thought it was 80,000, 82,000.
According to what I have here, it's $35,888.
They said they had $4,500 for the option for extending the new 6-inch discharge piping.
So that's its total price, that's what I'm looking at.
That's it, Bob.
Are we considering the additional 4,500, Tim?
I do not think so. I think we were gonna figure out to put a meter at the end of it, but I don't think we needed the additional.
Okay, and this, I know the proposal said it's good for 30 days. It's a little bit past the 30 days. It's still going to be good?
I believe they were all good, yes.
Okay.
So,
All right. Any questions on this item?
So the amount will be $35,888?
Yes, sir, Bob.
Okay.
The money, Jennifer, where is exactly this money coming out of? What account?
I would say this would be the Eastside water monies that you received from Lake County, because we still have that cash on hand to use for the Eastside.
Okay. All right. If there's no other discussion, do we have a motion on this item? To
So
approve?
moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Becker, to approve Robin's Nest Well House Booster Skid Replacement at a total of $35,888.00. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Richard Fields.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes, motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Number 3, future water capacity needs planning discussion. Jeff or
Neil?
Neil, do you have anything for us, Neil, on that? I know you've got your update later on here, but...
Yeah, we have the West Side report that was submitted on March 18th, and if you have any questions on that, I'd be more than happy to answer those. And then we have additional documents that were submitted from Dixon and some other contractors for not only the tanks, those options for the ground storage tanks, elevated tanks, but the high service pumps I would be recommending as well.
Okay.
So unless you have any other questions, I would defer to Jeff.
I would like you to just repeat yourself from a previous meeting on the water on the west side of the lake, what we need to do, because Nick and I was on the council before, and I guess a letter was sent by the water superintendent from 2022, and Nick and I never saw that letter till this year.
Yeah, while I can't speak to that, what I can speak to is the results of the report that we provided on March 18th, and that was the recommendation was to pursue additional production capacities, and then over the next few years, look at additional ground storage and high service pumps to supplement the existing capacity that you have at Parrish and Havenwood as well. And those would, between the two of those would provide the growth that you would see in the next 8 to 10 years.
So we need more capacity over there, right?
You do over the long term, yes, absolutely correct.
All right, I had been told that we needed 2 half-million-gallon water towers, and then you told me that we could have underground storage.
It's ground storage where the base of the tank is at the ground level. We don't have any recommendations for 2 additional elevated storage tanks. So if you've got that from somebody else, I obviously...
Yeah, that's why I'm asking the question. I did hear that from somebody else.
Yeah, we had 1 million-gallon ground storage tanks recommended, and then high
How
service
many?
pumps. 1 million-gallon ground storage tank to supplement the 300,000 gallons that you have on Parrish Avenue, which is an elevated tank.
And now, is this part of the reason why we're getting rust in some of the water over on the west side?
I am not an operations operator, so I can't speak to that. But anytime you have groundwater and you chlorinate it, you do have oxidation. I have that at home with the well myself.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 4, written report, fund report, clerk treasurer, Ms. Sandberg.
Cash and expenditure reports were sent out to you all last Thursday.
Okay. Thank you. Number 5, consultants and staff reports, engineer Neese. Neil, good evening.
Yes. For the sanitary sewer, the west side interceptor, they've, LGS completed on project 1 the final repair that they had. It's a 45-degree crossing under Morse. There was a rolled bell gasket, so they've completed that. Once that's completed in terms of testing that line that goes across from the east to the west side of Morse, then we will submit that to IDEM as it's part of our requirement for our facilities construction permit. And then they are working on restoration and then providing us the final record drawings, as-built, if you will, that we will review, make comments on, and then recommend final payment for the closeout of that project. As we've seen with other projects, always the restoration and the closeout of the project are the smallest dollar amount, but they are the most tedious in terms of getting the contractor to complete those and reviewed and inspected in a manner on behalf of the ratepayers of the town.
And that's phase 1. We still got 2 more phases to complete.
Yeah, that is project 1, Bob, you're absolutely correct. Project 2, working with Dave's office, we do have all easements acquired for project 2, which extends from 159th and Klein, eventually ending kind of just on the west side of Preston on 155th. And the design is completed. Item permits have not been submitted, but they are ready to be submitted as direction proceeds. Project 3, we have a conceptual routing, which we submitted to you with additional costs for projects 3A and 3B, should you choose to pursue those. And then we would move through to final design, once some recommendations were made based on our analysis for those projects 3A and 3B.
You said you need recommendation. You need recommendation from us to submit that to IDEM?
For project 2, yes, absolutely. But that's a financial decision looking forward to where you want to see
So when do you want that?
we don't need a particular time frame. The design's done, the ground's not changing, the service area isn't changing. So it's just a matter of what you guys see as a council to move forward, continuing on project 2 and then ultimately project 3.
So it's my understanding that we had submitted for some grants for potential funding sources for this next phase 2 and 3. Is that correct, Rich? the funding for
Yeah.
West Side Sewer Interceptor
Yes.
grant, at least, you know, to help us with it. We
Yeah.
have to contribute, but,
Yeah, and one of them was with Mervan's office. Those funds, if we were to go with that, wouldn't be available till, I believe, 25, and they were more looking at the lines of like phase 3. Now, when I did speak to Camille with IFA, drawing a blank on the letters, but anyway, they were even discussing possibly for project 2 and then 3A and B. You know, but that, I believe that application was due in June. And Neil, I know you did speak with Camille after I did.
I did.
Yeah. Do you have any more info on that as far as?
No, from the last time her and I spoke, and you and I spoke subsequent to that last week, on Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah.
I have not heard back from her.
Okay.
But we have submitted what the projected engineer's opinion of probable cost would be for project 2 and also 3A and 3B, which would get you to essentially 155th or 151st and Parish.
okay.
So we did fill out the application?
It's my understanding we did both of them, right?
I don't know if they are filled out, so that I do not know yet,
So if
so,
they're due by June, we need to,
yeah.
Jeff, are they filled out?
I thought, they're not?
I don't believe they are.
Yeah, 'cause I know, like, when Neil and I spoke, the stuff that he did give her, Neil, correct me if, I don't remember exactly, was there still a preliminary engineering report that we had to have you do first, or no? I don't, got a lot of stuff going on between then and now.
Understood, and there's a lot of three-letter SRF, IFA. What we've submitted to the town is the routing and the cost for project 2, which is completed in terms of design, and then the conceptual routing and cost for project 3A and 3B. We had not submitted that to SRF, IFA. What they probably would require would be a PER, preliminary engineering report, and that would be reasonably large undertaking, because you not only have to do the engineering part, which is relatively easy because we've already done that as part of the conceptual analysis for these 1, 2, and 3 projects, but there's historical, archaeological consultants that you have to hire.
Now, I know on one of them, I want to think it was with the Mervan one, I believe there was a deadline of the 28th of April, and Kirsten was working on that one, from what I understand, but I'd have to check with her again. But I know she did get one in on time but I want to say it was the Mervan.
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing the email chains.
Yeah.
At least communications with them.
Yeah, and I want to say it was due on the 28th of April,
Okay.
but I'd have to go back into my notes and check on that. I don't have it.
Mark, you're nodding your head. Is that in?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Mark Lopez from Frank Mervan's office.
So just so the public knows, we have some funding here in the accounts for some of these sewer projects, but we'd really like to lessen the burden on the current ratepayers, so we're trying to get grant money out there in order to, to soften the blow, I guess, so, and be able to fund them, because there's not a whole lot of money floating around, so. So we're working on that. If nobody had anything else for sanitary update for Neil, do you want to move on to water update, please?
Sure. As we mentioned earlier, the water report that was given prior for the west side, on the east side, the water tower site, that work is complete. There's some restoration and inspections that need to be done, and we're waiting on the fencing contractor to complete their work. But the project is finally moving forward in a positive manner, and that couldn't go without Tim and his staff's help. Very much appreciated.
But the water tower isn't functioning yet.
No, it is not. It was filled, it was tested, it was bacteriologically and pressure tested, and that's all been accepted. But the site work was what was remaining.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Moving on to Director of Operations Superintendent, Mr. Kubiak.
No, just like Neil said, the site is finally getting to the point of just about done. They got to put in the fence hopefully this week and clean up a little bit more, and it's going to be finished up. So good news, it's been painstaking, but we're finally making progress, so that's good. That's all I have. I don't have anything else.
Would you I think what you're working on Lake Shore Drive there, you want to explain a little bit about what's going on there?
I was waiting for the next meeting because this wasn't utilities.
Okay.
Stormwater.
Okay.
So if you want to do it now, I can, that's cool.
Do you mind waiting, Bob?
Yeah, we'll wait.
I guess last time, you guys, wanted to do the storm stuff in
All right.
another meeting, so. I
I'm
was trying
fine.
to follow
I'm just
protocol.
curious on that as I talk to you today.
You'll be on the edge of your seat the rest of the meeting. Anything else, Tim, or you good?
No, nothing else utility related, thank you.
All right, thank you. Town Attorney, Attorney Austin?
No, I have.
All right, thank you, sir. Number 6, we have update and discussion, Morse Street water line extension. We've had several inquiries by the public as far as where we're at on this project out here with our police and fire stations just east of this building. And I have a written report from Don Oliphant with Christopher B. Burke regarding the Paradise Cove wells. So a couple bullet points here. 1, an East Side water report was provided to IDEM on April 17th. A response was received on April 19th, and additional follow-up information was provided to IDEM, which, Bob, you should correct me with these acronyms, but it's Indiana Department of Environmental Management, right?
Yes.
On April 29th. The IDEM inspection group had told the town water department that since the chlorination system was approved as part of the original 2008 permits, that an additional permit was not needed. However, the IDEM permit group's stance was that since the previously approved chlorination was never installed at the well house, Lighthouse Restaurant has their own treatment system, a new construction permit is now required. Since they wanted a new treatment construction permit, they now required updated water quality testing from each well to be appended to the permit. Town Water Department took the new water quality samples roughly 10 days ago and delivered them to Microbac. There were quite a few samples taken and we're still waiting on the results. IDEM said they wouldn't look at anything until they had those test results in hand. In the meantime, we have the construction permit filled out the most we can. Once we get the water quality results, we'll package the treatment system information, Morse water main extension project, and upgrades to the Paradise Cove well pumps into one large construction permit submittal to submit to IDEM. As of yesterday, I think I got this report today, so as of Monday, the Town Water Department is still waiting on results from Microbac. So just an update for you folks where we're at on this water main extension here and the upgrades to Paradise Cove wells.
I had heard that the Microbac couldn't do all the things, and they were getting somebody else to help them with it.
Maybe they got too much work over there?
Some critical tests that they don't do it all, and they kind of like subcontracted it out.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to JMOB report. We have one of our members here, Mr. Teal.
All right, and I do see Mary Joan is online now. Yeah, we had a JMOB meeting last Tuesday. We actually had a little bit of a tour of the plant. It started about 2:30, went from wastewater treatment plant in Lowell over to the headworks, and then finished up at the EQ basin, about 2.5 hours long, roughly, almost 3. Myself,
most of the council was there.
Most of the council was there. I think we were just missing a few. And plus, we also had a resident go along with us. Mary Joan and I did for as far as a consultant. Bob Grosek, he did this type of work as a career, and so he was basically the question person for us that we didn't know what to ask. And if stuff was being told to us, helped us understand what was going on in, future needs and stuff like that.
And he's one of our residents.
Yeah, he's one of our residents out here. And so then after that, we had a meeting here at 5:30. Something important, we're discussing the expansion of the plant. Currently, we're 4 million gallon a day. The expansion was going to be to 8 million a gallon a day, and projected cost $52 million. There's a public hearing next Tuesday, the 28th, at 7 p.m. in Lowell. I would encourage everybody to watch it. You could probably get on their website to see what type of link. I don't think they do a Zoom, or I forgot what program they use, but you can view it. I know they're limited in space down there, so to attend it, you may not get a seat, but I would definitely encourage everybody to watch it. just to see what happens with that. I don't know if Mary Joan has anything else to add right now on that, but I know we'll have more info after this meeting on what's happening with that plant expansion.
And on the REQ basin, the cleaning of the trees and the cleaning of the basins?
Yeah, we approved, there was $10,000, I believe, for the removal of the trees that grew up in between, like, certain areas, grassy areas, stuff like that, around the fence. And I don't have my JMOB notes with me, but I believe it was $44,000, Bob, for the
Yes,
EQ,
$44,000.
for the repairs needed over there.
To clean out the
Which we'd be responsible for half of
basins,
that.
and then Lowell will continue to maintain them, so it won't be a yearly fee that we have to pay every year.
Yeah, and then as of yesterday, or I should say today, we still do not have the 2023 true-up. It should be, we should have received it in, I believe, March, is it typically?
I think that's what
According
the
to your
agreement says.
agreement, but we usually see it in June. And so we're kind of looking as a town to see why. And as soon as we get that, there's a lot of numbers in there that we're curious about from the 22 true-up. There's almost a tongue twister there. But yeah, we have a lot more questions, so I wish I had more to add to that, but there's a lot of stuff that we still don't know about, certain things on how it was divided up and billed, and Sue Hayes does have several questions. I did print off an email list of questions that have still not been answered since last year, and presented them to Lowell, and said that we still need these answered, and it's not going away until they are. Pretty much, that's about it.
All right, thank you, Rich.
Good job.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Did Mary Jo want to say anything?
Mary Joan, do you want to chime in?
No, Rich covered everything that was necessary to be covered. I do encourage people Tuesday if they can attend that meeting, or at least be aware of what's going on at that Tuesday meeting, down at Lowell for the sewer plant.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. All right, we'll move on to public comment for the utility board.
Nick, real quick, do you want me to cover the April wastewater report?
Sure. Yeah, if you'd like to, yeah.
It's just one, basically, there's a pretty succinct paragraph summary here. Wastewater treatment plant received a total influent of 181.5 million gallons during the period of April, or an average of just over 6 million gallons per day. Flow from Cedar Lake Plume was 93.4 million gallons, or an average of 3.11 million gallons daily, which is 51.43% of the incoming flow to the plant. The flow for Lowell was 88.2 million gallons, or an average of 2.939 million gallons daily, and that was 48.57% of the incoming flow to the plant. The wastewater treatment plant discharged treated effluent in the amount of 180.8 million gallons, or an average of just over 6 million gallons daily. Drain back to the EQ basin is in progress. This is at the end of April. I'm sure the basins, unless they were refilled with last night's downpour, were probably close to dry. For the month of April, we received a total of 6.58 inches of rain. The active flow plant was utilized this month, and out of that, the active flow treated 55 million gallons. We had one violation due to an RAS line plug, and the Cedar Lake EQ basins are in use and drain back to the large basin as of April 30th was in progress.
And that report was corrected because the first one they sent out had us using 71%.
That's correct. This is the
Updated one.
This is the corrected quote.
It was Neil's watchful eye, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Under Neil's watchful eye.
Thank you, Neil.
All part of the
All right, thank you, Jeff. We will move on to public comment for the utility board. Public comment for the utility board. Last call for public comment for the utility board. Anybody online, Ms. Sandberg?
No attendees online.
Okay. Public comments now closed. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, June 18th, 2024, at 6:30 PM. Please stick around, we'll start the town council meeting in about 5 minutes. This meeting is adjourned at 7:07 PM. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Town of Cedar Lake Town Council meeting for May 21st, 2024. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a prayer? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Beamer, good evening.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for the privilege that is ours to live in this town of Cedar Lake. And also I thank you for the people that have gone before us, like Dr. King and Geraldine Cracks, should know or know her very well. But I ask Heavenly Father, I thank you for the legacy that they have passed down to us. And we ask now for wisdom for the town council. I pray that you would guide them in their thinking. And sometimes when they disagree, I pray, Heavenly Father, that they might do it with decorum as well. And I ask now for all these new people that are moving into Cedar Lake. May they also enjoy the beauty of Cedar Lake like we have. But they also should be good citizens, and we ask for them, that you might give them, as they rear their children and their loved ones, that they also might be good contributors to the town of Cedar Lake. I also ask for your protection for the police force, for the fire department, for all the other services that are public here in this town, that you might protect them as they work and as they go about their business. And we ask now, Heavenly Father, again for wisdom, for the decisions that would be made tonight, but it also bring honor and glory not only to the town of Cedar Lake, but to Jesus Christ, the Savior. In His name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Meeting is called to order at 7:20 p.m. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Here.
Julie Rivera is absent. Chuck Becker?
Here.
Mary Joan Dixon? Here. Richard Field?
Here.
Greg Parker is absent. Nick Recupido?
Here.
I am present. Jeff Bungie?
Present.
David Austin?
Present. Thank you. We have a quorum. Folks, can you hear us in the back?
Nope.
We're good? Okay. All right. Thank you. We're going to start off with oath of office. Chief Fisher.
Council members, I'm here to present to you Matthew Milan. Matthew was approved by the Board of Safety and has been accepted by the Indiana Public Retirement Fund. I request that the clerk treasurer give him the oath of office to Matthew Milan for probationary patrol. Stand right up there. I'm going to move this card out of the way. Sorry, I've done that 1,000 times. Yeah, put it all back in.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Matthew Milan,
I, Matthew Milan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully support
that I will faithfully support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution and laws in the state of Indiana,
the ordinances of the Town of Cedar Lake,
the ordinances in the town of Cedar Lake,
the rules and regulations of the Cedar Lake Police Department,
the rules and regulations of the Cedar Lake Police Department,
and that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and honestly discharge
and honestly discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a probationary patrolman
as a probationary patrolman
of the Town of Cedar Lake Metropolitan Police Department,
of the town of Cedar Lake Metropolitan Police Department,
to which I have been appointed
to which I have been appointed
according to the law
according to the law
and to the best of my skills and ability,
and to the best of my skills and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
So historically, his badge is always presented by the council president, so.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard. Yep.
Did you get a picture? So we're gonna take 2 minutes here and get the family up here. You guys wanna get pictures? Tom, we'll get ours real quick.
Let's start. You guys need help?
We got Nick's gonna do it. Yeah, let us get with us real quick, and then we'll jump right in. Yeah, jump right in. You want to start? Come on, Officer Jake. Come on, Jake. Yeah, he's gonna. His mom and dad.
Thank you. One more of my lovely ladies.
Had I known they were dating, I might have thought twice.
Billy, you're gonna send him up here, right?
Pardon? Yeah. Hey, Matt. Sorry, I got yelled at about the podium. I gotta make sure I put it back right.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for being here, and I'm gonna do this town justice and do my best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Welcome up over pictures over there.
He's still learning, so Matt will be starting the police academy, the end of July. So, we're getting him all situated and ready now. I'm getting all this stuff ordered. A lot of items take, 4 to 6 weeks to get it in, so works out pretty good, so.
All right, congratulations. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have a presentation. Representative Mark Lopez from Frank Mervan's office, Ethics Committee Report.
Council, would like to begin by just, and I acknowledge they have left the room, but on behalf of Congressman Mervan, thank Probationary Officer Milan and his family. I believe he has joined, and the Congressman believes he has joined a very noble profession to take up the responsibilities to protect and serve your fellow citizen. Is very honorable, and would want to congratulate him on his selection and the wisdom of the council to select him as well. I would make one correction. I am unaware of any ethics committee report that I would give, and I'm not sure anyone in this room will want to hear it. I'm from Washington, D.C. and here to help. But I was extended the invitation at the council, or more importantly, the council, and I want to thank them for extending the invitation to Congressman Frank Mervan to attend and give brief remarks regarding the status of federal funding related to Cedar Lake dredging project, and more broadly, infrastructure projects that benefited the lake. However, due to Congress being in session, he is in our nation's capital, but did ask me to attend and give brief remarks and answers to the best of my ability. Any questions? To begin, I would like the opportunity to share, over my 28 years of working in the congressional office, the positive relationship the 1st Congressional District Office and the town councils of now 2 members of Congress and multiple compositions of the council that have worked cooperatively to the benefit of the shared constituencies. For the sake of time, I will give a brief recap of the joint efforts extended to dredge Cedar Lake. The Cedar Lake dredging project began in earnest in July of 2002, when the Cedar Lake Enhancement Association, the town council, made a formal request for assistance from the United States Army Corps of Engineers to dredge Cedar Lake. At that time, the congressional office and representatives from the town began to investigate what options are available to address the concerns for the sedimentation of Cedar Lake. Ultimately, it was determined that the solution to satisfy the long-term needs of Cedar Lake would be to address the project sequentially with federal, state, and local investments in road and water infrastructure first that will reduce the sedimentation entering the lake, and then pursue federal funding to dredge the lake, providing for a long-term solution. With that understanding, while working to identify what existing federal funding programs would meet the needs to dredge, it was determined that the best option was for then Congressman Goslowski to secure what is referred to as a specific federal authorization to allow the Corps of Engineers to spend up to $11.5 million in federal funds, and the local project sponsor, in this case, the town of Cedar Lake, will be required to provide at least 35% of the project's cost, which would make the total participation of a project not to exceed $15.5 million, and any cost above that amount would be the responsibility of the local sponsor. As I mentioned earlier, to give us the best chance for success, it was determined that we must address the infiltration of the sediment into the lake. In fiscal year 2007, the town entered into an agreement to be a local sponsor for the Cedar Lake Federal Dredging Project and work with the Congressional Office to secure funding for the town's request to construct the Sleepy Hollow Ditch Stormwater Project that at the time was believed to cause about 75% of the sedimentation of the lake. Further, in the prior year, in 2006, at the town's request to support the Cedar Lake Downtown Streetscape Project, the federal funding was made available in approximately $500,000 to support the installation of the sanitary sewer trunk line and measures to control flooding at the intersection of 133rd Street and Morse Road. While the Congressional Office and the town were working concurrently to address the infiltration for the goal of eventually dredging Cedar Lake, a series of engineering meetings occurred in the town over the years to complete what is referred to as a feasibility study that recommends a series of options. One is always no federal interest is identified and the federal participation in the project ends at that time, or to federally dredge the entire lake into an agreed-upon depth that satisfies the expenditures of our hard-earned tax dollars. Ultimately, the United States Army Corps of Engineers selected what was then referred to as Alternative 4 out of the 9 that were pursued as the recommended preferable alternative. That Plan 4 would have dredged approximately 140,000 cubic yards of the toxic hotspots from the southern part of the lake, reroute Hog Pen Ditch, and treat 400 acres across the lake bottom with a loom, a cap to prevent the phosphates from rising. Install planting and fish management. That project, if my memory serves me correctly, would have expended the federal funding of $11.5 million, and the non-federal sponsor would have to contribute approximately $4.5 million for a total project cost in the neighborhood of $16 million. However, the town at that time wished to pursue Alternative 5 out of 9 that would have dredged 247,000 cubic yards of sediment and the other benefits previously mentioned. However, the federal government did not agree and stated at the time the dredge materials in Alternative 5 were not of greater concern to the environmental project and would require the cost share changing from 65-35 to 50-50. Going back through old memos, the town selected to pursue Alternative 5 as what is known as a locally preferred plan, and that project cost was $21.6 million. And the federal government's participation, due to the change in the type of sediment that was to be dredged, was reduced to $10.4 million, requiring the locals to provide $11.2 million. At that time, the Congressional Office had secured $4.3 million to support the Cedar Lake Ecosystem Dredging Project. It is now 2019. In order for the project to continue and complete the feasibility study and put a project out to bid, the town was required to contribute $800,000 of their cost share to develop that feasibility plan. At that point, the town of Cedar Lake deferred to make a decision. And ultimately, in August of 2022, the United States Army Corps of Engineers sent correspondence to the then council president informing the town that given no engagement and no signed agreement that to execute the project, that they will close out the account and rescind the $4.3 million that was allocated through congressional appropriations. Now, I mentioned earlier the positive working relationship the office has enjoyed over the years. And this circumstance was not common. And now I am happy to report that Congressman Ravan and the town officials recently met to discuss opportunities not only on this project, but to help support continued investments in the existing water-related infrastructure in the community, and work cooperatively to apply for a $3.4 million in federal fundings for the fiscal year 2025 appropriations process to support the West Side Interceptor project that will benefit existing residents as well as support future residents. This by no means is a guarantee of funds, and as mentioned earlier, the funds at best will be made available in March of 2026. Because our fiscal year ends in October of 2024, so March of 2025. March of 2025. This by no means is a guarantee of funds, but I would point out that Congressman Mervan has been successful in working with local partners, municipalities, academic institutions of higher learning, and nonprofit organizations, and has been successful in 39 out of the 40 congressionally directed projects that he has submitted to Congress. So we will not know the conclusion of this decision until the appropriation process concludes. But if we did not make an application, we would know the answer as I stand here today. So Congressman Mervan appreciates working with the town officials to benefit our shared constituencies. Now back to the Cedar Lake dredging project. If the town would like to re-engage, Congressman Mervan stands ready to work to restart the project for 2019 with the United States Army Corps of Engineers and determine what, if any, monies that have not been obligated from the initial $4.3 million that was sitting in an account can be returned to the project. But the first obligation after that will be the town would need to contribute their $800,000 to complete the feasibility study that would allow us to then begin the process to advertise and award a contract. In closing, I acknowledge that this project has been going on for 2 decades and a lot of information to share with the council and the attendees in person and on Zoom. So if there are any questions, I will do my best to answer tonight or get back to you in writing if necessary. I began working with the town on a personal note as Congressman Wisłowski's project director in 1998. So I do have a lot of institutional knowledge. That being said, there's been a lot of projects that we have pursued. Congressman Mervan has taken up that mantle of his predecessor, which is to simply find stakeholders that want to work cooperatively to benefit the shared constituency by delivering and returning our hard-earned tax dollars to make significant investments to improve the economic opportunities and the quality of life. I often tell people the office is nothing more than a business development director. That is our job, to create work and wealth in the district and to find like-minded people that are willing to reach across, shake hands, and try to make the world a little bit better. But with that, I'd be happy to take any questions. I don't know what the protocol is, but I'm happy to take any questions you have.
No, anybody have any questions for Mr. Lopez? Anybody in the public? Any questions for this gentleman?
Anybody out there want to ask a question? It's opportunity, you have it.
I just would like to know, you mentioned in 2019 things changed so that we weren't doing stuff in that mode. What happened?
I cannot comment for others' actions. I cannot. The question was, what was the delay or what was the lack of a response to the project in 2019? I tend to get myself in enough trouble than rather not assign motivations for people's decisions. I would suggest it has been reported in newspapers that I believe the town elected to pursue a alternative funding mechanism in a project. But again, I do not know that for a fact and would defer to those individuals who made that discrete decision to share their logic and reasoning. But again, advocating on behalf of the federal government, Congressman Mervan would simply, if the town wishes to work as it relates to the West Side Interceptor project, road project, any water-related infrastructure project, we stand ready and willing to be partners and develop a good working relationship.
I do have a question, Mr. Lopez, regarding the $3.4 million in federal money we requested. Was there, because I wasn't really involved in that, honestly, but is there, so we may get the money, if we're granted the money, it would come in March of 2026. So
I misspoke. Our fiscal year begins, right now it is May of 2024, I'm in fiscal year 2024. Technically, fiscal year 2025 for the federal government starts October 1st.
Okay.
Now, as I stand here before you, in my 28 years of doing appropriations, we've done it once.
Yeah.
And there's an intervening election. I'm sure everyone here is unaware, but there's an intervening election for the executive branch and Congress. They tend to punt beyond the election, so we normally finish our work up in February of 2025. And so we know in March of 2025 the amount of dollars made available, and that would be for the West Side Interceptor project the request was made for. As the previous councilman mentioned, it's done in stages and phases. So we would always tell people, don't ask for, if you need it tomorrow, do not ask for tomorrow's project. Ask for the 1, 2, and 3 down the list. And if we're successful, then that's going to help alleviate the pressure you have on that list in your master plan.
So that was for phase 3, I think we requested.
Phase 3, yes, and I just went back to my calendar, that was April 18th when we met with you and Elizabeth Johnson.
But the deadline was on around April 28th.
Around the 28th, so yeah, so we, so Kirsten was, working diligently with, getting that filled out by the 28th, because it was basically just about 2 weeks, a little shy of that for the deadline. So, again, thanks for that meeting that we had that day.
And I commend her for working, she's new with this,
Yes.
and she did a super job.
I often say the answer to the unasked question is no. The fact is, the reality is Congressman Mervan can do nothing by himself. It required the leadership of the council and the appropriate authorities involved to reach out and make a request. And diligent staff to work with the congressman's staff to make an application. When I referenced Congressman Mervan as 39 out of 40, I misspoke. The applications have been 39 out of 40. We just deliver them to the committees of jurisdiction. So it's a testament to the strong applications that we select internally that get the consideration of the appropriate committees of jurisdictions. And so, again, the credit goes to the council and the leadership in the town to initiate the meeting. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate it. So do you
Charlie has a question.
Yeah, will you make the presentation available to those that want it in written form?
It's just my notes. I can make it more formalized and put it in writing. What I would do is, this is a public meeting, I will give, my email address is mark.lopez, mark.lopez, @mail.house.gov. For those that use email me. We'll get you the response in writing. For those that don't use email, call the office, 219-795-1844, and/or reach out to any one of your distinguished members on the council, and they are more than obviously able to get our attention and get us to respond in short order. So do appreciate those who are in attendance here today supporting the democratic process. I'd be happy to get formal remarks on letterhead. Thank you.
So do you recommend our citizens lobby your boss, heavy on the emails to get this done?
We respect the views of the constituency. The ability to move projects is up to the council.
Yeah, okay.
You're the elected fiduciary agent of the taxpayers of Cedar Lake.
All right, Mr. Lopez, you have a gentleman over here that's got a question.
You had mentioned about funding down the road past the election. My question is, whatever progress is made and whatever progress has been made as far as filing for grants and such, the ball rolling already, could that progress be stopped after the election? Could it just be halted and the next guy, or if powers change, could the whole ball of wax get stopped after that?
Again, that's a hypothetical, but I would simply tell you that there is a recognition on both sides of the aisle of the value and the importance of water-related infrastructure as it relates to economic development. I would suggest to you, your ability to process water, your sewer capacity is critical to development. And so you could have a wonderful potential destination industry locate, but if you can't flush a toilet or turn on a faucet, they're not going to locate there. So it is in the government's best interest of both sides to make sure that infrastructure, whether that be water-related infrastructure, broadband infrastructure, road infrastructure, bridges, for those pieces to be in place, because that's that public infrastructure that invites and attracts that economic development that creates that work and that wealth that is required to sustain a vibrant and thriving community, state, and nation. But I cannot foretell the future. I just would tell you over my 28 years, I have worked with 5 different presidential administrations, and we have secured funding for these projects under all 5 administrations.
I'd just like to follow up by saying, as you heard throughout the meeting from some of the questions, the future does have some needs as far as water, plumbing. So I'd like to just say thank you for coming down and getting engaged. We're going to need all the help we can get. Whether it is your group or the next, we're going to need help. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions for Mr. Lopez? No? Well, we thank you for coming, sir. Thank you for taking time to come down here. Okay, public hearing, number 1, ordinance number 1456, public way vacation, continued public hearing for Rago. This item has been deferred more times than I care to spell out here. Attorney Austin, we have review of legals.
Legals are in order now, as they have been
Yeah.
for the previous
Okay.
period of time. You received today, through my office, a letter from Attorney Weezer requesting a deferral due to his continuing recovery from some medical condition.
Okay.
And I circulated that today to all of you, of course.
Okay. Do we have to, being that the petitioner isn't here, do we have to, or should we go down the list of remonstrance and all that stuff, or would that not be
You don't
appropriate?
need to, you've done it 8 times.
Yeah, okay. You sure it's only 8?
No, it's probably more.
Okay. So my thoughts on this are that the last time that the petitioner was here...
It's more than a year.
It's more than a year, okay. The last time the petitioner and representative was here, we made it really clear what we were looking for. Power lines moved, poles moved, and then we would consider the vacation. So considering the circumstances, I would entertain a motion to defer this item with the understanding that the RAGO group understands where we stand on this and give it one last deferral.
So, motion to defer to June 18th?
I think that would be fair, Bob, to give them some extra time.
All right, that's my
Give them a
motion.
month.
A final?
And would that
Final.
be final deferral?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Teal, to defer this item until the June 18th Town Council meeting with the understanding this will be the final deferral granted. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
I'm sorry. Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon.
Yes.
Richard Seal.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. We are going to move on to public comment on agenda items only. Public comment on agenda items only. We'll have another public comment section after on just general town matters. Please state your name and address to the record if you come up to the podium.
Good evening, Kevin Toth, 9725B West 129th Place. I got just a comment question about under new business number 2 and 3, the disbursement for construction of the police and fire station. I guess my question would be, is we always call this a BOT agreement, or are we making construction payments on it because we're paying for the building now, or is this a BOT agreement that we're gonna be paying on later because there's no direction? Nobody understands this from what I get.
I think, Jennifer, did you send us out an email with
I
the
did
BOT?
send you out the email with the BOT agreement, so these disbursements are made to the developer, GM Development.
Okay.
So is there a traditional BOT agreement that there's gonna be a 10 or 15 or 20-year lease on this thing afterwards, or are we paying for it now under the building corporation?
Well, I apologize, I didn't get a chance to read through that whole agreement. That was something obviously was approved before my time, but does anybody have an answer on Mr. Toth's question regarding Attorney Austin? I'm a little unclear.
Because it seems like to me, and maybe I'm missing something, that this was started under a BOT agreement and then it was paid off with bonds through the building corporation, and I'm just trying to figure out, do we have a BOT agreement or we don't? Because that's usually like a lease to purchase that covers, multiple years.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to figure out, it seems like every month we're making payments, construction payments, and I don't understand where we're at with this.
You're making construction payments on the construction that's occurring on a monthly basis, to and including when they complete the project and operate it and turn it over to us. We pay debt service on that through the bond issue.
Yeah, but it's not a traditional BOT agreement.
No, it's actually very traditional. It is the format for it. Once you read it, Kevin, you'll see that.
So the company is going to own those buildings for the next 10 years?
Building corporation is going to.
Not the building corporation, the people who are building it,
They don't own anything once they turn it over to us.
once they turn it over.
And they will turn it over to us when it is complete and they've operated it for a period of time.
And what's that period of time?
Short. Probably be a month, maybe 2. That's probably an answer.
Then I guess my question after that would be, why do we need a BOT agreement then? Because if we were paying for it anyway, then what did the BOT agreement accomplish?
Statutory method of capital construction financing.
Is it, that BOT agreement, that was a public document, right?
Yep.
If he requests it via public record, then yes.
That's a public record?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, can I request that Kevin can get that without him going through the
You can do
process
that.
of
You can do
of
that.
having to
I
request?
just wanted an explanation
Well,
why we did a BOT agreement, and then we didn't take bids and we didn't do anything else, but then we built this thing, and now we've already paid it off basically, because the town's paying it off through bonds.
It's been a question, some of that has been questions of mine too, Kevin, but I don't know all the intimacies of all that.
I will go and request it then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, can you get that over to him, Jennifer, without him? I mean, does he have to go through?
I mean, that's the way I keep track
Okay,
of
you keep
everything,
track
but
of
I
it.
mean,
It's
you
so
could always
simple.
forward the email if you wanted to.
Okay,
If
Not a
you-
just go in and request it, Kevin, if you
I
don't
will.
mind. All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Hello. Hi, how are you?
Dexter, 13701 Lowerman. I came tonight to introduce you guys to my friend Phil here. He's someone that I met last year during the beginning of the farmer's market season, and he provides the ATMs for us. And so a couple weeks ago, we had a conversation about if there was a possibility about having the ATM here permanently somewhere within the town grounds, and I was like, I don't think that's an option. And I talked to Chief, and he likes the idea, and so we're here tonight. So Phil's gonna fill you in just a little bit on some details. I thought I would come in case you have any questions for me as well.
Thank you, Kelly. Good evening, Phil.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you guys. I believe that the agreement was sent, an ATM placement agreement was sent over to you guys. If not, I have one on paper form.
It's item 8 on the agenda, under new business.
It's number 8.
Kind of explaining where.
Yeah, okay, so,
I know what, but for the public.
For the rest of you guys here, the plan is,
Number
so,
20.
last year,
Nick.
I was present at majority of the farmers markets. We had a few rainout days, but, we replaced an ATM for the public to use, given that a lot of the farmers and, shop ran owners were not accepting credit cards. So we, came up there with no charge to the farmer's market and gave you guys the convenience of cash at the market. I ran some numbers from last year. The machine dispensed over $10,000. So for first year, and given there was a few rainout days, $10,000 was able to go to these people trying to run their small businesses. So I think that's a great thing for the community. There's also, spoke to the Chief Fisher a couple weeks ago, and we talked about how there's other events, not only the farmers markets present at the town grounds. So another convenience for the people here in case, you know, you got concerts or any kind of activities where you guys might need some cash. We do not charge the village or the township at all. It's pretty much the way that we make money is based off the surcharge, which we'd be giving you guys a commission split on that as well. But mainly the biggest thing is the convenience of cash accessible to whatever events you guys are running, and you know, just trying to make it better for the community and give you guys some options.
And it'll go in the police, by the police
Yes, and
department.
then the plan with it is it's gonna be going into the police department, so it's indoors, it can be here year-round, and, you know, just give you guys the convenience of cash there as well for no charge to you guys, and you guys can make some money as well. But the biggest thing is convenience for all your community members, and,
Like if somebody wants to come in and pay something in town hall, and they don't have enough cash, they can go over there and get some cash out and come back and pay you,
correct.
if that's what they choose.
Yeah, what's the fee, what is the fee on a?
Well, the national average is $3.19. Typically, we do like $3.50. And then we take care of all maintenance, filling the machine, installation of it, bolting it down to the ground. We have our own wireless router, so there's no telephone wire that we need from you guys. All we ask is just for the ability to bolt it to the ground and then be within a couple feet of a 110 receptacle, which is pretty standard. It uses less than 5 amps, so typically in a 1 month, it uses about $5 of electricity. So minimal, they're usually on standby mode when they're not actively taking a transaction.
And Chief Fisher, you worked with them with the location and that?
No.
No, we have not had the exact location
Let's
done.
get one thing straight. I got approached by the farmer's market and asked if we could put a machine in the police station. I said, I don't really care, there's cameras there, but that's not a decision I can make, because I don't own this building. So I went to the town manager and said, hey, what do you think about this idea? I think it was during our department head meeting, and they said, let's put it on as an agenda item so that you guys can make that decision. It doesn't bother me to have a ATM machine. When Phil and I talk, we have many functions that take place on the town grounds on a regular basis where people may need cash to be able to operate, and, you know, them having to leave the grounds, go to an ATM, and come back so they can buy something, sometimes may deter them from actually buying the things that they want to be there for, you know, especially the farmer's market. This was approached to me to see if I was interested, or that if I was okay with it. I told them I don't have any problem with it. We have cameras out there anyway, so.
Okay. In this agreement, are we considered the merchant, I assume?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Town of Cedar Lake.
Correct, okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. Do we have any other?
And then I also, just in case you're concerned, I have insurance for it as well. I talked to my agent prior to coming here. They said that if we could both be additionally insured on each other's policies. I brought my policy with me today, showing you that, so it's all protected as far as liability goes.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Phil? No? Okay. Thank you, Phil. It's going to be an agenda item later on in the meeting.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yep, thank you very much. Okay, anyone else for public comment? On agenda items only. Last call, public comment on agenda. Yeah.
He's leaving.
Last call for public comment on agenda items only. Ms. Sandberg, do you have anybody online?
There are no attendees online.
Okay, public comment on agenda items is now closed. Consent agenda, number 1, minutes from April 2nd, 2024. 2 claims, all town funds, $739,332.66. Wastewater operating, $280,588.27. Water utility, $83,980.72. Stormwater, $17,469.48. Payroll, April 25th, 2024, May 1st, 2024, and May 9th, 2024. $669,218.38, and would that be April remittances?
Yes, that's April remittances.
April remittances, $202,052.05. Number 3, manual journal entries, April 1st to April 30th, 2024. And looks like we have a conflict of interest disclosure agreement. We normally cover this all in the consent agenda?
Yes.
We do? Okay. All right. And we have a 2024 conflict of interest disclosure statement for Barbara Littles. She's a Board of Safety member here in Cedar Lake.
And what is that, what is that conflict of interest?
The auto touch auto body?
Oh, okay, because it's not the hair?
No, it's the body shop.
Her husband
Her
works
husband
on
works on
police
squad
vehicles.
cars and fire trucks and public cars.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have any other questions on the consent agenda or any discussion?
Yes, this will probably go to David, on this. We have Strachan Van Til, project fund of $30.84, and then we have Strachan Van Til LLC bond fund of $45,237.31. Can't that money be moved somewhere else?
Probably.
And we probably need to do that.
I think we should have a separate discussion about that. That's not really a consent agenda item.
Okay, it's a claim.
It's not.
No, it's on your report.
It's on the fund report, which
Yeah.
is not part of the consent agenda.
Well, it's in the figures, so that's why I brought it up.
The claims are your expenditures.
No,
only,
it's not
your
a
cash
claim,
balances.
it's in your financial report.
Yes, that I give to you monthly, which is not part of the consent agenda, so we can
Okay.
discuss that at another time.
All right.
Mr. President?
But let's keep that in mind.
Okay. All right, Bob.
What?
Go ahead. Oh, Dave?
Jennifer, is documentation for that in tonight's agenda? Right.
It's not in the agenda, it was just part of the monthly reports that go out to council.
Well, I'd like to see that in a future agenda items so that we can get that out of that item. And also, community crossing grant, that's probably, this is another figure in there, of $639,713.61. Is that money already obligated?
CCMG money, yes, because they give you the cash up front for your projects.
Yeah, okay.
So you're looking at, you're looking at the cash balance of that fund. That's
Yes.
your that is your Shade subdivision phase 1.
Okay.
That's the 50% match we received. Because we have not received the cash for the 2023-2 project yet.
All right.
Any other questions, Bob? or-
No, that should handle it.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Teal to approve this consent agenda. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Sandberg.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Turn the page. Ordinances and resolutions, we have ordinance number 1488, regulations for bus vehicles and discharge of passengers. Last meeting, we had the first reading of the ordinance, which did not pass unanimously. We had a couple council members that wanted to see the exhibits that were attached to this, which didn't have to be in the packet for the public to see at this meeting, or at that meeting. We're missing two of the members, one of them being Julie, who requested that packet. I don't feel it's fair to be voting on this tonight without all of our members present, so.
Motion to defer.
I'd request a motion to defer until June 4th.
So moved.
You gonna second it, John? Okay. We have a motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Becker to defer this item to the June 4th Town Council meeting. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 2, ordinance number 1489, special events amendment. We have this on the agenda as a second reading required. I believe that this was an item that was deferred last meeting, if I'm not mistaken. Just make sure. Yeah, we had a deferral on this item to today's meeting. So, any updates on this, or any discussion, or do we want to defer this one again?
I don't believe it was technically deferred. It passed on first reading, just not unanimously.
Okay. All right. My notes show otherwise, but I'm rifling through this stuff fast. So it passed on first reading?
Yes, because
Okay.
in parentheses, Kirsten has second reading required.
Okay. All right. Well, what's the board's pleasure? Do you want to discuss this, or do you want to defer this item once again until we can get more council members involved? I guess, are there any other questions on this ordinance? We had discussion about it, and we had some clarification on what we were looking for. Has everybody kind of got what they were looking for out of it, as far as amendments? There was a 30-day requirement that we kind of rescinded. Mr. Austin, do you have anything to add?
This was an intended legislative act to expedite or a more business-like approach, review for approval of special event permits in our town. That was the genesis of the drafting and presentation.
Okay. Did we have one no vote or two no votes at the last one?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
Okay.
Remember.
All right. It's up to you guys if you want to defer it until next month, or if you want to act on it. If we want to act, we're going to have a reading.
There may be a basis for a deferral in that the number of days for processing is still empty.
Okay.
That was left for your discretion and your determination.
Okay.
You'll note that on page 2 of the ordinance.
I'll make a motion to defer it.
To the next meeting, Chuck? Do we have a second on that motion?
Mary Jo,
Oh, Mary Joan? Okay. Thank you. We have a motion made by Mr. Becker, seconded by Ms. Dixon, to defer ordinance number 1489, special events amendment, to the June 4th town council meeting. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Joan Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 3,
President.
yes.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no problem.
May I suggest that before the next meeting, that some assessment of the number of days that space filler, that time, be considered for either discussion or disposition.
Okay. Yes, sir, we'll get on that. Thank you. Number 3, resolution number 1353, appropriation transfer in the amount of $17,800. Ms. Sandberg?
Okay, so I have just kind of combined everything, because traditionally you do not need a resolution to move from line item to line item, but there were a couple of requests that came in, so I just kind of merged it all into one resolution. That way we could get business done. So this is for total transfers in the general fund of $17,800. That's $1,050 within the Planning, Zoning, and Building Department from line 112, which is full-time staff, to 119, paid leave buyout. And we also have total transfers of $16,750 from Parks and Recreation. That's $15,000 from line 399 facilities to 222 operating supply, and $1,750 from 399 facilities to 396 miscellaneous services.
Okay. Any questions on the transfer?
We're moving 15,000 from facilities to operating supplies. What are those supplies?
I can answer on that. When the budget was put together for the Parks Department, we didn't have this is our first full operating year. And that 399 appropriation is really about services for facilities. We're finding that we're needing to buy more supplies to repair facilities, but we're not outsourcing a 399. So it's just going into that miscellaneous to be able to purchase like paint to rehab, mulch to fix facilities up, and not using those monies as services, which is a 300 appropriation. We're looking more to put it into a supply appropriation to be able to make repairs and such.
Okay.
So Parks has just found that they don't really need to outsource. They can handle the projects in-house. They just need it to be in the proper appropriation to buy the supplies.
So when we work on the budget for next year, would these things be taken into consideration?
Absolutely, because I think what a lot of the focus was on these first couple of years with the parks was making sure that they had the capital and equipment to function, as well as the personnel. So now that, like Mindy said, they have a first full operating year, they're able to look and see, and especially as they're working on their master plans, that, okay, we no longer need, we don't need any more cars, we don't need any more trailers, we need the necessary operating supplies as they're maintaining all the various parks around town.
Okay.
And the other one of $1,050, what is that about full-time staff to 119 paid leave buyout?
You had a PZB employee leave, and their vacation had to be paid out.
Okay.
Is it paid out at 100%? Is it paid out at 100% normally?
So yeah, you don't have any other policy on the books. So
Okay.
we follow all federal guidelines. Vacation gets paid out.
Okay. All right. Mr. Teal, would you mind reading this resolution by title only, please?
Yes. Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, Resolution Number 1353, a resolution authorizing appropriation transfers by the clerk treasurer for the following funds during budget year 2024.
Thank you, sir. Okay, is there any other discussion on this item? If not, do we have a motion to approve resolution number 1353?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Teal to approve resolution number 1353. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker,
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon,
Yes.
Richard Seal,
Yes.
Nick Recupedo.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Next section is BZA Plan Commission. Number 1, accept the performance letter of credit extension to November 19, 2024 in the amount of $212,835.71 for Beacon Point West Unit 5. This item was approved at Plan Commission, vote of 6-0 on May 15, 2024.
So moved.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Becker to accept this performance letter of credit extension. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Chuck Becker,
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon,
Yes.
Richard Seal,
Yes.
Nick Recupedo.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 2, accept a performance letter of credit extension to June 14, 2025 in the amount of $4,430.25 for KNR Perez, approved at Plan Commission, May 15, 2024 with a vote of 7-0. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Teal to accept this performance letter of credit extension. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Chuck Becker,
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon,
Yes.
Richard Seal,
Yes.
Nick Recupedo.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 3, accept a performance letter of credit extension to May 24th, 2025 in the amount of $373,557.25 for Hanover Community School Corporation. This item was approved at Plan Commission, May 15, 2024 with a vote of 7-0.
So moved.
I'll second.
Mary Jo?
Yep, Mary.
Okay, I'll give that one to Mary Jo.
Yep.
All right. Kudos to getting in fast on that one. We have a motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Ms. Dixon to accept this performance letter of credit extension. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Chuck Becker,
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon,
Yes.
Richard Seal,
Yes.
Nick Recupedo.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 4, accept the performance letter of credit extension to expire on April 22nd, accept a performance letter of credit to expire on April 22nd, 2025 in the amount of $473,440.50 for 141 Partners LLC, which is a self-storage development. This item was approved at Special Plan Commission meeting, May 1st, 2024 with a vote of 7-0.
So moved again.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Teal to accept this performance letter of credit. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Chuck Becker,
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon,
Yes.
Richard Seal,
Yes.
Nick Recupedo.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. New business, approve and accept the training reimbursement agreement for Police Department Police Officer Matthew Milan. Get my bearings here together. Okay, for the gentleman that was, just took the oath of office, Chief Fisher, do you have anything? Just standard practice?
Standard practice.
Attorney Austin, same?
Standard practice.
All right.
Motion to approve and accept the training reimbursement.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve and accept the training reimbursement agreement. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Chuck Becker,
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon,
Yes.
Richard Seal,
Yes.
Nick Recupedo.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 2, disbursement request number 13 for the 2022A construction fund for the police department project in the amount of $360,609.81.
Before we do anything, what's the update on the building?
Looks great.
Everything's moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, the police department side, all the floors are in, all the trim's up. Got some little minor things to get fixed and some doors to put in.
I think Cliff said he was gonna be installing some of the stuff
Coming up.
soon, right?
Yeah, we're just waiting on some stuff to come in first.
And that
But, yeah.
that concrete thing out there is for a sign?
Yeah, up front by the fire station?
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of that won't be messed with at all until the water main project's completed.
Okay.
So basically from the south, west corner of the police department and the north, east corner of the fire department, from there to Morris and from us to Constitution, they're gonna leave that alone. So once the water main project's completed, then they can go back in and don't have to tear up something that's brand new.
Motion to approve disbursement request number 13 from the 2022A Construction Fund for the Police Department project in the amount of $360,609.81.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve disbursement request number 13 for 2022A Construction Fund. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Nick Recupido?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 3, disbursement request number 12 for the 2022B Construction Fund for the Fire Department project in the amount of $816,038.18.
Same question as the chief, what's happening out there?
Moving right along, everything's on schedule as well, so we should be going in here either this week or next week. So they get one, but yeah, painting, being done, pouring, everything's on schedule.
Okay.
Very good.
Motion to approve disbursement request number 12 from the 2022B Construction Fund for the Fire Department project in the amount of $816,038.18.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr.
If
Carnahan.
I could ask a question real quick, why is there a discrepancy in payment request or disbursement 12 and then the other one's 13? Wouldn't they be the same, or did I?
No, because when the bonds closed, there was monies that was distributed to the town. Everything else is held by Regions Bank and the construction fund. So we expended the cash on hand first, and since the fire department project is slightly larger and the percentage split, those first pay requests, they had enough cash remaining on hand to pay for a portion of, and I can't recall which disbursement request number it was off the top of my head. And then, you know, they were able to start going through the construction fund. PD, you know, that disbursement, it's because of that cash on hand. I can get you the number.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'll second.
You'll second? Okay. Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Teal to approve disbursement request number 12 from the 2023B Construction Fund for the Fire Department project. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Nick Recupido?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 4, approve capital improvements plan. Ms. Sandberg, are you taking this one? Or who's taking this one?
I suppose I can,
Were you involved in this one or no?
well, I sent an email reminder out,
Okay.
but I cannot recall the specific statute that I quoted in my email
Yeah, I can't
to
recall it
you.
either, but I know we had
But this
some
is-
correspondence.
Yes, so this is related to our certified economic development distribution of income tax that we get. There's a state statute, I'm so sorry, I can't recall it, but every 3 years, you have to certify a capital improvement plan with Lake County. You have to prove it, accept it, and then certify it over to county every 3 years.
Okay.
Are these the statutes that are on the top? Is that what
Yes,
it's for?
I'm sorry, I don't
Okay,
have an iPad in front of me, so.
I just wanted to make sure that's what they were.
Okay.
And what is the capital improvement plan, do you know?
Again, I don't have an iPad in front of me, so it's in your packet.
Do you want me to read it off, Bob?
Yeah, it's item number 17, Bob.
All right.
Traditionally, in the past, what you have used your shares for is road construction. You have a 2015 outstanding bond, you've used it as cash on hand for projects, it's paying for a portion of the
Public
Shades
Works
project.
Garage, East Side Sidewalk, 133rd Avenue, Rays, Founder's Creek, Lake Echo Restoration Project 1, construction ongoing. Let's see what.
Okay, so this is something we have to do every 3 years?
Yep.
Yep.
Or else they can technically take the funds away from us.
Well, we don't want that.
That's why it's an agenda item.
Yeah.
It was basically just we added a few things, we changed some numbers. Most of it's just basically a reiteration of what the document that was submitted a couple of years ago was, as far as major and minor road improvements, that type of stuff. We did, since we do have a couple of delineated kind of projects now that are hanging on the books, the sidewalk, East Side Sidewalk,
Eco Restoration Project, Founder's Creek, 133rd Avenue, and...
Correct.
Yeah, and on the bottom, it does state project schedule, planning, development, and construction commenced in 2020 through present and will continue through 2028.
Okay. Do you have everything you need there, Bob?
Yeah, I found it.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on the approval of the capital improvements plan? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Teal to approve the capital improvements plan. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please, Ms. Sandberg.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 5, consider approving new fire department full-time firefighter EMT Jenna Rainhout, favorable recommendation of 3-1 from the Board of Safety on April 24th, 2024. Chief Mager, do you have anything for us on that?
Jenna is a current part-time firefighter, EMT, received all of her training, she's got some more testing to go through with the hiring process, and just looking to move forward with that. Again, it was approved by the Board of Safety.
Okay. Is this to fill a vacant position, or, we approved 2 new hires after the first of the year, is it in regards to that?
We actually have one of those positions open, and also firefighter paramedic that had resigned. So I don't know for sure which position is.
Okay.
Is that application closed, the one that we had that was most recent, or is it still ongoing?
I believe that's ongoing because we just had a resignation last week, or a week before.
So what the Board of Safety had approved was basically an open hiring list.
Okay.
There was no close date related to that one.
So this item received a favorable recommendation from the Board of Safety.
3-1.
3-1, yep. Any other discussion on this item? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the new hire.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve new fire department, full-time firefighter EMT, Jenna Rainhout. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Reinhout.
Reinhout, sorry. Okay, any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 6, consider rescinding offer of full-time employment offer to Mark Whitlock. This item received favorable recommendation 4-0 from the Board of Safety on April 24th, 2024. Chief Mager, did you have something for us on this regarding a deferral?
Yeah, I believe Chief Wilkening was going to ask for a deferral on that, but they did not make it tonight.
Okay, to the next meeting, I suppose?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any discussion on this item?
At the June 4th meeting?
Yes, sir. Anybody entertaining a motion to defer this item?
I'll make a motion to defer this to the June 4th meeting.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Mr. Becker to defer this item to the June 4th Town Council meeting. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 7, approve posting a notice to accept applications for a mechanic. There's been a discussion in town now since last year about hiring a mechanic to work on this whole fleet of equipment that we have now in town. I don't know who wants to take this. Tim, you and I talked about this a lot, and you talked with a handful of us about it.
Yeah, I
Can you
mean,
give us kind of some background?
it's just an effort to hire a mechanic with some certification. We raised up the pay scale a little bit from a regular, previous we had a kind of a mechanic position that was essentially equal to a crew worker. So we kind of created a little bit higher position so we can get a mechanic with some certifications and some qualifications to do a little bit more than just change oil. So we look forward to, we got a lot of stuff broken all the time and we need somebody in there to fix it. So hopefully this will help fill that void and improve our ability to stop hiring so much out to outsourcing to other places. So.
And a lot of our claims tonight were oil changes.
Yeah, well, we were still doing some oil changes, but without that position in the shop, now we just have our helper guys, and we're keeping up with our own, but like as far as the police and, it's just too much for us to do without missing that guy, so hopefully, that, obviously, if we can get somebody in there, it'll help tremendously with day-to-day operations and with the police and fire, keeping their equipment going and so on and so forth, so it should be great.
All right, Ms. Sandberg, this was an item that has been budgeted
Yes, sir.
for 2024. And then could you just clarify for us where the funds would come from? I know 50% for motor vehicle highway.
Mm-hmm. 25% from the wastewater fund and 25% from the stormwater fund.
With that, I'll make a motion to approve the posting of a notice to accept applications for a mechanic.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Teal, to approve posting a notice to accept applications for a mechanic. And just so the public knows, we're going to consider approving posting for the notice, but the hiring process then would commence afterwards, and final approval is yet to come as far as hiring an individual. So, any other discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Number 8, approved placement agreement for a full-time ATM in the police station. Speaker present, Phil was here. We have, in the packet, get to it.
Number 20.
It was 20, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we have an ATM placement agreement that's being considered between this firm, Station 21 LLC, and the town of Cedar Lake. Looks like a clean document. Are there any options or anything that you have to review on this?
I didn't see it.
Didn't see it at all? Okay.
What does the town get out of this?
You'd be getting 50 cents per transaction.
That's line G, Bob?
Yeah, I see it there, I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
Summerfest has a contract with the Carnival, and it also includes 2 ATMs in our contract. Will this be jeopardized?
No.
We have 2 ATMs on the festival grounds.
Okay.
We've done that way for 7 years now.
Okay. If required, I can disable it for that week. If not, I don't have a problem with them being present, as long as they don't have a problem with me being present with my ATM on the town grounds. That being said, I can disable it for the 7 days that
4 days.
4 days that you guys are having that. If there is any kind of conflict with the previous
contract you guys have with them. But we're very willing to work with you guys on
Thank you.
whatever you guys need.
Thank you, Mary Jo. And just so we're clear, in terms of the agreement, it states this agreement shall be in effect for a term of 60 months, during which time no other cash dispensing machines may be used on these premises. The agreement will renew itself for an equal term of 60 months unless the ATM owner receives written notification to cancel within 60 days of the end of the term.
So you have no problem with that phrase where...
Well, we would still need this agreement changed, though, to reflect that,
Yeah.
right?
You would.
Yeah.
You might also want to think about this time period determination.
Yeah. Yeah, to be honest with you, Phil, I've just seen this recently, like over the past 24 hours.
Okay.
I'm leaning towards deferring this item just because of the stuff brought up by Ms. Dixon and...
Well, I mean, 'cause that just what, you know, she mentioned, this would definitely have to be rewritten, but
Yeah.
I'd still like Dave to review it as well.
Yeah.
You know, with any suggestions. Is this something, Dave, do you think that could be deferred for the June meeting, the 4th, or do you think it would be?
You could put it on your June 4th agenda, as long as I get the documents.
I like the concept of having it here.
I do too, I just.
Yeah.
Well, how soon are we thinking about putting it in? Because since we're gonna be eventually moving the police station up there, are you gonna have it up there?
No, it's staying here, it's not going up the hill.
Okay, so it's gonna stay down.
Yeah. Because that door's open anyways, that's a public bathroom. So even when the building gets turned over to Parks or whoever it is, that door will always stay open because that's the only public bathroom in this building, so.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea, I don't feel we can vote on it today with the changes needed.
Okay, all right.
May I ask Dave a question? Is a 6-month agreement, does that make us tie into an agreement to maybe commit to council? Like, are we fully committed to have a 4-year agreement because you're the president council now?
Yeah, that's a service type agreement, Mary Joan, and it would be able to be extended beyond 4 years.
Thank you.
It's like a utility agreement or just a service type agreement.
Okay. Yeah, I'm more inclined just to defer it, just to get these things hashed out and...
Mr. President, can I ask one question? And this is only on behalf of the farmer's market. Would you allow them to put it in there under the farmer's market until you guys make a decision, just because she has the farmer's market coming up where people are needing an ATM? He just needed it indoors. That was the original intent.
Is there a problem with that, Dave, would that be putting it in prematurely, or?
Yeah, it would be, and you're adding a party to the party,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So how would the shift occur back to the town if we don't have some agreement by the other two parties that occur?
So how many dates of farmer's market would this affect by waiting till June 4th? And then how long it would take afterwards, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, Kelly, when are your next dates?
If needed, he could bring it, and it could just be what we did in the past, is just bringing it for that day, and he would just come and then bring it home that night, you know.
It was posted outside somewhere?
We had it chained up to one of the food trucks.
Okay, I'd be more comfortable with that.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would, rather than putting it in place where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel comfortable putting it in place either without it
Okay,
being approved, so.
all right. Okay,
I'll make the motion to defer this to the June 4th meeting, and with, Dave having enough time to review this, and also change the agreement to reflect the farmer's market dates.
to reflect,
Summerfest.
Summerfest.
Okay.
Sorry, I had farmer's market on my head, because that's what this was.
Okay.
Yeah, Summerfest, sorry.
Yeah, we'll have to have some kind of verbiage in there because we don't know what the dates are gonna be the next 4 years, do we? I mean-
No, but we need the machine there all the time for anybody else.
Yeah, but for the dates that it's not available, for Summerfest, Dave, could that be written as a, I don't wanna say blanket, but just open-ended date for conflicting with
So
Summerfest?
I would plan on commenting on it. It would be the dates for Summerfest in that year, whatever they are. No guessing. It's just those dates.
Okay. Are you okay with that instruction, Dave, with the
Yeah,
comments you've
I
received?
think I know what you guys.
Okay. All right, thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Teal. Do we have a second? Seconded by Mr. Becker to defer this item into the June 4th Town Council meeting with legal review and amendments to the agreement based off a discussion here tonight. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Okay. Reports, Town Council reports. Mr. Bob Carnahan.
All right, first off, Chuck and I had a street committee meeting, and based on what Donald, on our Christopher V. Burke engineer, told us that we should continue with shades for a community crossing grant project for the July application, which the money will not be needed until next year. And then we directed Jen to get a hold of Corby, because she couldn't answer what kind of bonding ability we have. And she's going to meet with Corby and get us information on bonding, and then doing 141st from Parish to the railroad tracks will be a project we can consider doing after we pay off some of our current bonds.
Okay. So,
Right, Chuck?
Yes.
So that's my recommendation, and they've got to submit the community crossing grant in by July, and we'll get notified if we get the money in August.
so right now we're just waiting on something from Corby.
Well,
Ultimately, what I have requested from Corby is how big of a bond issue you can go, and that's exactly what I just reported a little bit ago regarding the EDIT money.
Okay.
all right, if we get the 100 or $1.5 million from the state, we have to match it with a $1.5 million. And Don estimated the cost would probably be at $1,008,000 or $900,000. So we'd have to bond part of that, and maybe all of it, depending on where Jen can find the money. And then we'll look at bonding out for reconstructing 141st from Parish to the railroad tracks, which is our corporate limits.
Is it possible for that project on 141st to be used, that to be paid for with TIP revenue? Is that?
No, it's not in the TIP
It's not in
district.
the TIP district at all?
It's adjacent to, in fact, adjacent to two of them.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a recommendation, and I'd like to kind of make a motion to do this, so Don can go to work on submitting the application for community crossing grant, which is due in July.
There has to be what would be your motion? I'm unclear, Bob.
To have shades, the continuation of the Shades project, Phase 2. And that would be the only one, because the other would have to be done with another thing. So Don can prepare a community crossing grant for that.
Okay.
We'd have to raise an agenda to do that.
Can it wait till June, or are we cutting it too close? And does it have to be public action, Mr. Austin?
No, the direction I think Bob wants to make is for the due diligence to commence for the road project that's being talked about, including concept engineering, financing, analysis, grant application filing, and whatever needs to be done by and through the accountant.
Okay.
Or the financial advisor.
I kind of want Don to proceed, and we need to give him direction with filling out the application, because I talked to him earlier tonight, and he says he's filled out all of our applications.
Okay.
Do you need an engagement with Don for this and his firm? In this project?
Well, traditionally, applications have just fallen under the general services agreement with CBEL.
Okay, and that works.
Okay. So do we need a public action on this to go forward, or is it simple as a committee instructing Don to move forward with that?
We should take public meeting action.
Okay. Okay.
Amend the agenda?
If you'd like to, Bob.
All right, I'll make a motion to amend the agenda due to the time frame.
Okay, we have a motion to amend the agenda. Do we have a second? Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Becker to amend the agenda to consider a motion on a road improvement project. Any discussion? Roll call?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Joan Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 5-0.
Public comment for...
Yeah, we can, so you want to instruct Christopher B. Burke to move forward with applying, or go ahead, Mr. Bell.
I'd like to make a motion to have Christopher B. Burke, Donald Font, prepare an application for community crossing grant in the amount of $1.5 million for Shades 2 project, which we've already done Shades 1, and this would be Shades 2 at Donald Font's recommendation.
Okay. I'll solicit a second, then we'll go into public comment. Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Teal, to instruct Christopher B. Burke Engineering to prepare an application for a community crossings matching grant in the amount of $1.5 million for the Shades 2 road reconstruction project. We'll open this item up to public comment. Anybody here that want a comment from the public? Okay. Nobody's raised their hand online, Jennifer?
There are no attendees online.
Oh, there's no
Mr.
attendees.
Kubiak.
Oh.
I got a comment.
Go
I
ahead.
guess I don't know why I was not included in the streets meeting, but I guess I would like to see that maybe not all the money could be committed to the Shades 2 project and the 141st reconstruction, because we have, like back behind ZIP, we have 131st, 132nd. I mean, we need to use 10 or 15% of those dollars just to do some resurfacing of some of these other roads that are really in bad shape, so I don't want to commit it all to...
Well, that's what he recommended, and we talked about those other roads too. And there was discussion with maybe future street committee that we can have some discussion with Jen on availability of other bonds becoming available where we can bond some more.
I just think it'd be smart to leave it open where you're not committing to everything to the exact project. I mean, I agree with 141st of the tracks, but I mean, in years past, we've always kind of used a little bit just to pave a couple, you know, we did 142nd.
I'm all in favor of doing that up there, but I went with our
I just like to keep that door open for
recommendation.
I guess, so.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
This application that Don and his firm will do with your direction is focused on getting the grant money. And that's really the reason. I agree with Tim about spreading it if you can, and you ought to leave that option open, but you don't want to engineer 6 projects or conceptualize 6 projects and have money being spent to do that when you're focusing on getting the big project. And that's part of the analysis that goes into the recommendations.
Okay. Well, any other public comment on this item?
Good evening, 14513 Morris, Terry Brothers. I'm just wanted to try to remind the board, being in the room at the time, I think it was Olthoff presented, was it Blue Sky off 141st and Parish. And I believe on the entrance off 141st, it was discussed have a turn lane and all the different things they needed to do for the subdivision, for the increased population in cars and so forth. So I'm just hoping that if we do start discussing the 141st Street, that would be in that Railroad to Parish section. I would imagine those two jobs would coincide and funding would kind of come together on that with the developer along with.
Could I answer some of that? Mr. Oliphant discussed that with us and said that there is some obligations from developers on 141st that we're going to try to pull their money in, and so the town does the project by itself with their help of funds.
With some of their funding.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry. All right, last call for public comment. Public comment on this item is now closed. I guess I understand your concerns, Tim. So the matching money would be 1.5 million. We would be requesting 1.5 million from CCMG funds.
Right, and then we're going to have to come up with $1,800,000 or $900,000 ourselves.
Okay.
Estimated cost. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what it'll come in at.
Okay.
So you're talking 3.2 million?
Yeah, that's what he said, and he said, if you jump here and jump there, you should complete one project before you go starting another one.
Okay.
Did I handle it pretty good, Chuck?
Yeah. He was talking also about the sidewalk project. The previous engineering firm, is it
BS
BS is your current engineering firm on that project.
But they also put in 10-foot sidewalks.
And that was
that's why it
crazy,
costs
we just heard that
outrageous.
last night, or Thursday.
And then right now, 10-foot sidewalk, that's why the cost is so high right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how it got approved to 10-foot.
I don't know, I wasn't involved in that.
No, and Tim, were you on that rating committee that approved them?
No.
He thought you were on it.
Okay. Well, considering this matter at hand, we have a motion.
Greg, Julie.
We have a motion and a second to instruct Christopher B. Burke to prepare an application for a community crossings matching grant, the amount of 1.5 million for Shades 2. Any discussion? Roll call?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Joan Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Nick Rakupido?
Yes, motion carries 5-0.
So Jeff, will you notify Don?
I will.
Okay.
All right, do you have anything else, Bob?
Yeah, kids, free fishing derby, Saturday, June 1st, 2024, from 8 a.m. to 12 noon at the Cedar Lake Chamber or State Senator Sue Lansky's park, 7925 Lakeshore Drive. No registration necessary. First 100 youngsters will receive a free fishing pole. Free bait is provided. Children between the ages of 2 and 13 must be accompanied by an adult. Light lunch and prizes. And Vito's Italian Ice is going to be there giving out their ice treats to kids only. If any of the adults want them, they have to pay for them.
Anything else, Bob?
That's all I came prepared for.
Okay. I want to report, under Town Council report, somebody sent me a link online from safewise.com. This website takes into account crime statistics and stuff of that like, and Cedar Lake was rated number 4 safest city in the state of Indiana. So I just want to give a round of applause to our law enforcement and citizenry for Let's keep it that way, right? Yeah. Or get better. Let's go for number 1. Any other council reports?
I just have a quick question. Do we need to mention anything with this IT coordinator that we put the application out for.
Yeah,
Mary
you
Jo and
wanna-
I had a meeting this past Friday with one of the applicants that there was another meeting, actually a previous, with a couple of applicants. And so Mary Jo and I took the recommendation with Cliff and the rest of the staff. And so as council affairs, we met, I'd say around 30 minutes with the applicant, and we believe this is the person we do want to go with. So I'd like to see something on the next agenda as far as the hiring. Would that be an action item on the agenda? Could we do that by?
Yeah.
If you direct, so, yeah, let's make sure that that is.
Yeah.
Jeff, you need instruction for that?
I'm sorry?
Consider hiring the individual that Mr. Teal had mentioned for...
The next agenda.
Yes.
Yeah, for June 4th,
Yes.
Deputy IT Director and IT, or GIS.
GS Coordinator, Deputy IT Director.
Yep.
The IT director and GIS.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I had one other thing pertaining to JMOB again, with Sue online. I did speak with Sue yesterday, 30 to 45 minutes. I shared with her the engineering report on the expansion of the sewer treatment plant, in trying to figure out what estimated cost increase per ratepayer would be. And I just wanted to ask Sue if she happened to have that number yet. If not, no big deal. I just was wondering if it was available.
I don't have the number just yet, but I'm in the process of, I've done the deck. I did find a couple of cost items that are missing from their estimated probable cost as far as the soft cost goes. So, but it's not material, I don't believe. So I'll go ahead and up the 52 million a little bit so that we've got it covered, and then we'll go on from there, okay?
Okay, and then if possible, after what, the report that you looked at, I don't know if you're gonna be watching the meeting, but if you have any questions, I think, for any of us that are gonna be in attendance to ask during public comment, if you could please email us those questions.
For the 28th meeting, where's the public hearing on the PER?
Yes, correct, in Lowell.
Okay, will do.
Thank you.
I have a question, actually, clarification on that. This modeling, as far as rates go and how they can be impacted by capital improvements, we have customers of ours in Lakedale and surrounding neighborhood or neighborhoods. What is the method of getting input from those folks or notifying those folks about the goings-ons here, with our sewer rates and possible increases? Dave?
Through the website, through your monthly billings, of our meetings.
Okay.
Same way most of our citizens get that information out themselves.
Okay. Do they have like a quasi-governmental entity down there, a POA or something?
Well, Lakedale Carly does. Westdale subdivision on Moore Street doesn't.
Okay.
They're part of, I think they're appended to Lakedale Carly.
Okay. Maybe we can get in contact with those folks and let them know what's going on.
Which, after just hearing that, we probably should have, we should send them an apology for not inviting them to the last JMOD meeting.
Yeah.
Actually, the timing of this is very opportunistic. I had Nicole from Lakedale Regional Waste reach out to me and say they typically have a meeting with Cedar Lake Town Council and their staff annually. She said it usually takes place in July. And she would like to set a date for us to make that meeting happen.
And this one will be here, because our last one was there.
It's just like JMOD, it pops back and forth between they host and we host. And she was hoping for, they were looking for the week of July 22nd.
Can we wait that long? Or do you think it'd behoove us to do it sooner?
Well, that was just her request, but no, we don't, I suppose we don't.
And that's a Monday, right?
Yeah, the
Well,
fourth Monday.
it would be the week of, so we don't necessarily have to have it Monday. We could have it Monday. But she was just kind of fishing for a date to find out what of that week, what day would work for the best for our board members.
Okay. Well, you want to get working on scheduling that then?
Yeah.
So we'll-
Yeah, just keep us informed, and when you do speak to her, tell her I apologize for not including her in the last, she was at the February.
She was at the J-Bob meeting, and
Yeah.
it completely slipped my mind too, to let her
I was
know.
more focused on the report and the expansion increase and everything else, instead of actual all attendance on who should be there.
You might want to remind her about the meeting in Lowell.
Yes.
On the 28th.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank you.
If she's not in the loop already, yes.
Sue,
Yes.
with Lake Dale, are you calculating what we're going to have to charge to them?
Well, Bob, they're on a contract basis, and as the amounts that we get billed, and Jen, correct me if I'm wrong, as the amounts that we get billed on a monthly basis change, their monthly bill changes. So like when we went up to 75,000, for operations and maintenance on a monthly basis that we pay to Lowell, their calculation includes that 75,000, and it's based on their percentage of the flow that we allot to them. And then the same thing, they will have to pay the increased debt payment, but based on the percentage of their usage.
And then, Richard Teal and I had a discussion where he thinks that 75,000 we're paying them a month should go up, $5,000 to $7,000 additional dollars a month, correct?
Yeah, I don't remember what, and I did discuss that with Sue, yesterday as well, and I don't know if it was the exact amount. Sue, how much, a little more did the 75, did you think?
Well, what it was though is that in the PPR that you sent me, they do present a proposed operating cost for the new plan. And so I am looking at how that compares to what we are from the 2022 true-up calculation. Obviously, the operations of the plant do not include, to my knowledge, the payroll, but it would be the other. So I'm gonna, that was one of the other things I was looking at, to try and get a more solid number of what we could expect our monthly operation and maintenance cost to go up to. Right now, the 75,000 is more than what we calculated when we got the 2022 true-up report, but it wasn't that much. So it was a little bit, the 75 is a little bit more. But given their budget for this year, that, you and I and Mary Jo had talked about before, is since it's less, we may stay at 75. I'm not sure that it will go up.
Okay.
That's good news.
On the 75. Now, of course, for debt components that we can bill for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
Anything else, Rich, regarding J-Mob or anything? Nope. Okay. Any other town council reports?
Do you have anything, Mary Jones?
No, I do not.
All right. Thank you. Town attorney, Attorney Austin?
No report.
All right. Thank you, sir. Clerk treasurer, Ms. Sandberg.
No report this evening.
All right. Town manager, Mr. Bundy.
The only thing I'd like to, in this section anyway, this was presented to me, actually got it by email this afternoon, by Don Oliphant, and it's an update on the Paradise Wells. An East Side water report was provided to IDEM on 4/17. A response was received on 4/19, and additional follow-up information was provided back to IDEM on 4/29. The IDEM inspection group had told the town water department that since the chlorination system was approved as part of the original 2008 permits, that an additional permit would not be needed. However, sounds like IDEM's stance on this has changed. The IDEM permit group's stance now is that since the previously approved chlorinator was never installed, Lighthouse Restaurant has their own treatment system, a new construction permit is now required. Since they wanted a new treatment construction permit, they now require updated water quality testing for each well to be appended to the permit. Town Water Department took new water quality samples roughly 10 days ago and delivered them to Microvac. There were quite a few samples taken and we're still awaiting on the results. IDEM said they wouldn't they wouldn't look at anything until they had those test results in hand. In the meantime, we have the construction permit filled out the best we can. Once we get the water quality results, we package the treatment system information, Morris Water Main Extension Project, and upgrades to the Paradise Cove well pumps into one large construction permit submittal to submit to IDEM. As of yesterday, the town's water department is still awaiting results from Microvac.
All right, thank you, sir.
That's all I have until I have to do the Christopher Work monthly report.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Director of Operations, Mr. Kubiak.
As some of you who are around here may have seen, we had a storm pipe fail right by the Sandbar Restaurant there on the curve. Turned into quite a project, changed us about 145 feet of 24-inch pipe. There was a bunch of
125 feet?
145 feet.
45?
There was a bunch of AT&T fiber optics and gas line and some other things causing us to have to reroute it a little bit, add a manhole. We had PGX help us put it in, which was helpful, or we'd be out there for another week probably doing the traffic, but we did get it in. We have to now fill the old pipe with flowable fill tomorrow because it's right on the edge of the curb line, and it's a 24-inch pipe, and it's completely rusted out, just a metal pipe, and it's just about gone, so we're going to fill it with flowable fill tomorrow before we restore that in there, just to keep it from failing in the future since it's so big. And
what kind of pipe did you put in there?
PVC now.
Okay.
So it's good for another 100 years now. It's fixed and done, so that's cool. We got 2 houses tore down in the last 2 weeks on the unsafe building list. We had about 16 dumpsters left in our year contract with Republic that ends at the end of this month. Our garbage end of year is June 1st or May 31st, or however you want to stack it. But so we did utilize those to tear down 2 of the houses on the unsafe building list, which now we'll be out of dumpsters at the end of the month. So that's.
What 2 houses did you tear down?
139th. I don't know the names of them, and then 135th Avenue. 139th Place, 135th Avenue. Also, I talked to David a bit at the Plan Commission meeting. I would like to figure out how to move forward with changing our lighting ordinance into not just a zoning ordinance, but a, what would you call that, David?
Town code.
Town code, so that way we can have police officers, and when we do have issues with people with complaints of lights at nighttime, we have the police officers working at night, which can obviously kind of police this a little bit easier than I can or the building department can. We have a couple complaints, we have a couple issues. Problem being that we don't work 24/7, and that's kind of one of those things we put it into place, and it needs to be, you know, we have some complaints, we have a couple items that need to be addressed. We've addressed a couple of them, but I feel that if it was in town code, that we can get a little help and make it better for all of us to, you know, to utilize that ordinance, so.
Okay. That's something it's got to be worked on with staff and then go to the Plan Commission?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
That's all I have. So yeah, if you guys are in agreement, that would be a great help to help us, you know, have it so multiple people could, you know, enforce it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
So you're gonna direct Dave to work on that?
Dave, do you need direction on that? You understood?
I thought I had it.
Yeah, okay.
Just saying.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
All right.
I got it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Police Department, Chief Fisher?
We had 1,050 calls per month, averaging about 34 calls per day. We had 509 traffic stops, 456 warnings, and 190 citations. We had 530 law calls for the month, 38 arrests, 26 charges. Issued 21 ordinance warnings for the month and 54 ordinance citations. That's pretty active.
Pretty active. It's warming up, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
We do have the pier in too, by the way, which I'm sure you guys saw. And, emergency response site is completed. They have a couple of canopies to put up. They did have a good conversation with DNR. They got approved by the state to get a new boat for our lake, so that should be coming relatively shortly too. So they'll have a new boat out here. But
very good.
We got our boats in the water, so we're prepared for any emergency responses.
All right. Thank
You
you,
all right
sir.
there, Bob?
Mike got in my way.
Oh, I'm sure with the money.
Fire Department, Chief Mager?
Council, you'll find your operations and training report for the month of April. Basic breakdown, 148 incidents in April and 520 training hours.
Okay, thank you, sir. Parks Department, Ms. Ray?
I just wanted to let the public know to continue to like our Facebook page and look at our website for all the programs and things that are going on in the Parks Department, but I have nothing for the greater good of the council tonight.
You've got porta pots at Bartlett Wahlberg Park now, right?
Yeah, that's an annual summer thing that we do.
Yeah.
I mean, you want me to, the gazebo got smashed by a tree on town ground. That's big news.
They all got video.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about a repair budget now.
That was a pretty monumental event.
All right.
And Jen, our deductible's $1,000?
For that, I believe it is 2,500.
2,500?
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Ray. All right, updates, discussions, Morse Street water line extension. Mr. Bungie, you took care of that?
Thank you very much, yep.
Yeah, I appreciate that, thank you. Written communication, building department report, and Christopher B. Burke report. Do you have anything to, kind of an overview on those?
I have the monthly Christopher Burke report. Summarizes town activities, town engineering activities for the period of April 13th through May 17th. Number one, Cedar Lake dredge. Dredging operations as of May 16th have ceased on the lake. Dredge America has indicated they have reached the volume cap based on available funding for the project. Their subconsultants will begin an as-built survey of the 2024 areas on Wednesday, and CBEL will review this survey to establish final quantities. Dredge America crews will leave the site within this coming week while the as-builts are being completed. The dredge is due to be removed from the lake in about a week to be transported to Kansas for a 2-month project. Final demobilization of the Cedar Lake project will commence in August unless additional funding is provided. If additional funding is procured, there will be an additional mobilization fee assessed by Dredge America. Operation of the sediment dewatering facility will be transferred to the town once the project is formally closed. Today, here at Town Hall, CBEL held a MS4 coordination course for builders and developers around the town. Developers, builders, trades, and contractors' responsibilities under the IDEM Construction and Stormwater General Permit. I believe we had 14 participants. Workshops are meant to educate all stakeholders in their responsibilities, better construction site management, better reporting standards, and lines of communication. That one's pretty much no change. Couple of things that have been funded for this year, the crack sealing and striping project is almost complete. The filling and crack sealing, I believe, Ken, is complete, correct?
Yeah.
The only thing they're waiting to do is they're finishing up the last little bits of the striping. 2023 Community Development Block Grant Fund Lindsway, the ADA ramps that were added to the Lindsway sidewalks, and that is also substantially complete. They are working coordinating with H3 to prepare pay applications and coordinating final quantities and to formally close down this project. PCB Monsanto class action settlement, City of Los Angeles versus Monsanto. The Part B special funding application deadline was on April 28th. T-Bell reached out to the court-appointed special master attorney and were told that any funding decisions would most likely take months, not weeks, to be determined. First 2024 Town Streets project is Shades east of Morris and north of 141st. They did have a little delay. Contractors were notified by NIPSCO during utility locates that they were showing errors in their internal utility mapping with unmarked and abandoned service lines on Sherman Street. Based on unknown locations of these service lines, they issued an emergency main location to be completed, which will be completed next week. This should, however, not impact our project as our contractors have shifted to Rockland Street. So no real potential long-term delays are expected. We'll keep count staff advice, let's go status over the week. And that's about all we got right now that's going, on now.
All right, thank you for the update, Jeff.
Why he mentioned about dredging and that, did you finally have contact with Jared Tippy?
Me, Bob?
Yeah.
I did, yeah, I spoke with him last week, and basically I guess there was some kind of maybe verbal agreement with the last group in this town that the money was to be used at the end, and that if we don't find a way to put the $2.1 million of our sewer money that we took out of the ecosystem fund back into sewer funds, if we don't do that, we're not going to get the money. So that was a surprise to me, because when after the first of the year, I was told there were no strings attached with the request, and I find out there's strings attached, and here we are. So there's money there. It's a class action settlement.
What a shame.
And but in order to get the class action money, I guess we have to spend $2.1 million in our sewer money or find some other money to match it. I don't understand it.
We already
I guess
put
I kinda
$7
understand
million
it,
in,
but-
and we took the 2.1 out, and now they want to slap our hands.
Yep. So that's the update I got on that, Bob. Building department report. Jeff, do you have something on that too? I think it's in our packet. I could go through it.
It is in the packet.
Okay.
I did talk to Michelle. She did say that through the end of April, all new construction permits are up. Most of them are single-family residencies. We're getting a lot of pool fencing permits and sheds, storage facilities. Most of them have fit in through most of the building ordinance as required, or as in most ways. I think we've only got I think out of all the applications that she's done in the last 60 days. I think we're only looking at 4 variances as of right now, going forward, so, yeah, busy time of year at the building department with, summertime activity.
And I see for the month of April, we had 17 new construction permits, giving us a total of 52 for the first 4 months.
Correct.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll move on to public comment for the town council. Public comment, come up one at a time. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Gail Brannon, 7014 West 139th Place. And I would like to thank the board and all the departments involved in getting the house tore down next to me on 139th Place. It was 5 years, 2 months, and 8 days that my house was 30 feet off of that house. And I must have better patience than anyone in here. I never came and said anything about it, just waited till, it happened. And I am so thankful. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. A couple other things I wanted to mention. The ATM, I think that's a service contract, and shouldn't that be put out for bid if you're going to bring a new service into town? And also, 5 years seems like an extremely long term for that, so if you would consider that. Also, I wanted to mention that I have family that lives in Lakedale. Their sewer bill is $63 a month, and that's only for the gray water. They all have their own sewer containment tanks in their yards and have to have the sewage pumped out if and when it gets too full. I just wanted to bring that to your attention because some of you might not know that.
Yeah.
But they pay quite a bit more than we do, and they don't have nearly as much flow going into it because they contain their own sewage, it's solid, so thank you.
But at one point in time, they ate our whole system up and ate the concrete up, and we had to spend a lot of money to repair it.
Oh,
Well, that's past.
oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail.
Angie Michaelajczyk, 12806 Lee Court. I just wanted to second about the ATM on the grounds here. I think that we should probably at least give the opportunity to the communities and the bank. I know Centur was very patient with building their new bank here. I know a lot of residents bank with Centur. And I just think that maybe there should be a bid out for something like that. Like it kind of caught off guard just it being on the agenda. I don't know if the other banks in the community are aware that you're considering putting an ATM here, because it's more than just that. There's stuff at the beach. There's also to consider how many vendors are accepting cash only as opposed to, maybe debit cards. There's a lot to consider there.
We'll take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Hanover Township trustee had Centur using their facility, and now you're looking for somebody, and you're having a hard time finding somebody, right?
Yeah, we did look into it. In fact, we're removing the pad and stuff, so nobody's interested in it anymore. The banks don't want to go away from their banks.
Well, yeah, they put it in new Centur. I just don't know where this person is, if they're a local business or not, just something to consider.
Yes,
And then
ma'am.
also,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
No, I said absolutely. I agree with you. Andy.
Okay, thank you. And then also, this mention of lights with a new ordinance, could anyone extrapolate on that? Because I have garden lights on the back of my house because I live on Lee Court and Klein Avenue, which is a bigger road, and there's an apartment. We get a lot of people coming through the back, walking towards the lake. So as a safety issue, I keep my garden lights on in the back, and all our neighbors keep the lights on in the front, in the driveway. I don't think there's any opportunity for me to contact NIPSCO to get a security light back behind there or anything like that. So could you give me some more information on this?
On what they're looking at doing with
Yes.
the town code? I think, Tim, you can
This is
explain.
relation to people that have too bright of lights. That the kilowatt power is too bright and it violates the town ordinance. It's not about installing more lights or anything like that. So The problem is the ordinance right now doesn't allow for us to enforce it because there's no enforcement mechanism for lights that are, believe it or not, too bright.
On what type of items? Garden lights?
Residential,
Like, the garage?
garage light, right.
Okay.
There's nothing about your garden that's you have to worry about. Garden lights are not gonna be too bright, they're not gonna hit the candlewatt power that we're talking.
Okay.
We're talking spotlight kind of
Yeah.
candle light.
And he just asked to move it from the ordinance to the code book,
Oh,
so
okay.
that the police could have.
Give us another job.
Okay, I just wanted to know what that
But
was.
I think, that'll end up being a plan commission agenda item, right? So it'll happen in, public, meetings with plan commission before anything's acted on, Angie.
Yeah.
And I think you know when the plan commission meetings are, right?
Maybe.
All right.
Try and stay away from them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Angie.
Good evening, my name is Mark Polcaro, 13238 Lakeshore Drive, and I'm here on behalf of Sunset Harbor Condo Association, and we're just looking to see if you guys would consider installing a guardrail along our property, somewhere between where the Sandbar Restaurant property ends and where Sunset Harbor Condo property begins, and kind of like right across the street from SIP. And going, I guess it would be east. And how many feet that you guys go, you would determine, maybe by an engineering survey or some kind of safety survey. There have been a series of accidents there over the last couple of years where cars have gone too fast, crashed through those wooden pillars into our gate and into our parking lot, and it's just become way a safety issue. I've spoken to Mr. Becker and Mr. Carnahan about this, as well as Public Works, and they don't have any opposition to it, so I just wanted to see how we would get the ball rolling and what we do to get something like this on the docket.
Okay, this is.
Yeah,
every time I go around the lake, I'm waiting to see the next pile of rubble there, or to see
Right.
what they destroyed, you know.
I think it's a good idea, because
Yeah.
safety-wise, you need a guardrail. I've seen at least 4 vehicles go through there.
Right. Hey, Mr. Kubiak, in regards to his request for a guardrail over there by Sunset Harbor, what do we need to do to get a guardrail up over there?
I actually have TJ coordinate, we had a company put in the guardrail over in the Shades project on 41st, so we're just finishing up that storm sewer project, and we're gonna kind of mark out and measure where we would propose to put it, and then get some information back to you, so.
Okay. I know guardrails a little bit, but some of them, those country guardrails are kind of raw looking. Is there anything decorative out there that would kind of fit in with the scenery, or?
We can check into that once we kind of figure it out, but yeah, I don't know, as far as decorative and able to stop a speeding bullet is one of the. I mean, I don't know, we tried the 4x4 deal with the cables or the 6x6s, them are don't stand a chance. I don't know I know that there's like some barrier wall or something of that nature, but then again, based on the speed of the road, and, that's why I was gonna contact that company, but we can definitely see if there's something more, decorative or something. But I've never seen anything, I've never noticed anything, I guess, driving around that's more decorative, but.
Yeah, we put those decorative posts and they got smashed too.
Yeah, they've been changed 20 times.
Chief Mager, did you have a question?
Something to definitely consider is our draft point is right there on that curve. I understand your concern, but for fire protection of your buildings, we have to have access to those sides. So, I could coordinate with, but we're gonna have to have a pretty big section there that's not gonna be able to be covered, because GeoGrid was put in there specifically to supply the sprinkler units.
Okay.
And we do have a larger gate for that purpose, but you're right, we couldn't, think about
So
that.
we definitely have to keep that in consideration.
Okay. I don't know what the council, what you guys think, but I'm receptive to it.
I am too.
So do you guys want to collaborate, Chief Mager and Mr. Kubiak, to kind of get something worked up for us to propose or consider?
Yep, we're gonna work on that, we'll get something to you and see what we come up with.
And then what's our next step, this week till the next meeting, or?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have anything ready by the next meeting, but do you think that we'll have anything ready? Or?
Possibly.
Okay,
I mean, we'll
yeah.
keep you posted. We got your number, so, I mean, if you wanna come to the next meeting, you're more than welcome, or we can kind of.
Can we put it on an agenda item in case something is ready?
Yeah, well, I guess we have a couple weeks to do that, but I guess in the meantime, you guys can see if you'll have something ready for us. At that point, we can put it on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yep.
Terrific.
We'll get working on it.
Thank you for your time,
sir.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment? Ms. Roberts, good evening.
Good evening. Brenda Roberts, 15008 Moore Street. I have two items tonight. One is a NIPSCO pole down on 153rd and Moore Street was torn in half by the storm. And I talked to the NIPSCO guys down there. They said a microburst probably went through there, and two telephone poles down there too. And they said they had 36 NIPSCO poles to repair in Lowell, 36. So you probably know more than I do now, because I don't watch TV and I don't listen to the radio. They warned me that there might be a storm tonight, and they have a warning out for more microbursts. So make sure your telephones are charged, is all I have to say. Yeah, really. And I don't know. I don't know what the last weather report is. They told me that this morning.
Yeah.
So,
come in around 8 or 9 o'clock, they said.
Okay, all right. They're on alert.
I'll wait till after midnight if it does.
They're on alert for microbursts, and,
Yeah, we had one take the gazebo down last night.
yeah. Imagine breaking a NIPSCO pole in half. And, yeah, I'm afraid it ruined our eagle's nest. I think it's down. Half of it is down. Whether the babies are gone now or they can repair, I don't know. Time will tell. So, that was that. Charge your phones. The other thing is, I would like to appeal to everyone, and please tell all your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, and whatever, please observe the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit that we've put up now, that the town has put up, to 153rd. They're not observing it. And the result is, well, it's not the only deer that's died. There's been many of them recently. One looked at me in the eyes and said, help him, and I couldn't do anything, and the DNR came up and had to shoot him. Last week, one was run over right in front of my house, and I have a rather large yard in front, no trees, so the excuse that this poor deer ran out in front of their car and they couldn't see it. It was a bright sunny day between 11 and 1 in the morning, and no skid marks, and this deer was hit running from the west to the east from my yard into the neighbor's driveway. Now, I published a picture of this poor dead deer, and got the most ridiculous sarcastic remarks from people who do not observe the sacredness of our wildlife. And there's just no excuse for it. And if they had been doing the 30-mile-an-hour, you'd see that deer coming from way far away, even if they're running. No skid marks. Now, it's a problem here. Everybody seems to think it's very funny, and I tried to hide and remove all those horrible remarks with the funny faces on them, and I just don't understand it. I really, really ask you to watch for that 30-mile-an-hour, please. Such reckless things that go on out there in front of my house.
You don't have to tell me, Brenda.
Get the money!
I haven't had a speeding ticket in 18 years, so you don't have to tell me.
Oh, you
Yeah, I can take care of that.
Well, it happened, you just do it. I mean, come on, it's not so bad. I really, 30 miles.
I mean, records are made that we started over, right?
Are there deer crossing signs? I know, you know,
Yes,
signs are signs.
oh,
You guys out there?
listen, I did that years
There's multiple signs on
ago.
that road in front of Brenda's house.
Okay.
I did that.
Yeah, I noticed.
Animal signs.
Okay.
deer
I did
crossing.
that years ago. I went to the county highway service and they put them up the very next day.
Okay.
They're there. We could put up some more 30-mile-an-hour speed
We
limits.
cannot.
They're hidden. You can hardly see them.
Well, I will go and double check, but I drove down the other day just to double check them, and they were very clear. The
Yeah,
problem
but you come
is
from
you
the south and you go down that
You have to
hill,
understand,
and
we
it's
only get so
way
many
there.
and so much space, right? You can't just have 30 miles an hour every 5 to 10 feet, because it doesn't work.
Well, it wouldn't be 5 feet.
I understand.
Put one up in front of a house. I don't
I
care.
can't do that.
I'll go
Well-
buy one.
To the public listening, slow down, right?
Please slow down. It won't
We
hurt
started
you to
some
go
new traffic
another,
enforcement programs, we're gonna try, and we'll go out there and see if
Yeah.
we can,
another quarter of
Stop
a
the car.
mile from the normal speed limit that we always had from Cedar Lake. It won't hurt anybody. The motorcyclists, unfortunately, are really bad. Yeah, so please, I appeal to you all to watch it. It won't hurt you, but it will help our wildlife that tries so hard to exist here in our world. Okay. That was it.
All right, thank you,
I
Brenda.
can't make us laugh tonight.
I laughed.
Who laughed?
Thank you, Brenda. Any other public comment?
Don't worry, Brenda, the rest I need.
Last call for public comment? Ms. Sandberg, anybody?
And I'm not gonna tell you how.
Okay. Our next meeting is Tuesday, June 4th at 2024 at 7 PM. Thank you all for attending. This meeting is adjourned at 9:29 PM.
Not yet.